Yo, 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 what it do, everybody, man? Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the 11:30 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. What's goody? How everybody doing out there? Appreciate everyone tuning in on this Saturday, man. Here to talk some pro wrestling, man. For real, we live here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, man, and also Instagram. Appreciate everyone definitely tuning in, man. If you're new to the show, and if you haven't done so already, before we start talking that good old wrestling, man, I don't know what you're waiting for. Definitely hit that subscribe button, you guys, man, down below. Like it, leave a comment, and share it. Do all that great stuff. And don't forget to follow the 11:30 podcast on all social media platforms. All right, man. Now that's out the way, man. For real. Like I said, man, it's time to talk some pro wrestling, man. We had a bunch of things that went down this past week. Obviously, the WWE Draft Night 1 sort of concluded last night on SmackDown, and we got Night 2 coming up on Monday night. Definitely talking about that. A lot of people sort of, stayed in the same places, and you sort of seen some changes in some way. Also, man, AEW, boy, I think that's going to be a heavy topic to definitely dive in. A lot of AEW topics to sort of discuss, man. But I'm not alone, you guys, man. I'm joined by my guy Mark. Man, he's a former guest here on Talk Pro Wrestling. He's joining me right now. He's the host, you guys, of Jumping the Rail podcast. Mark, what's going on, my guy?
Hey man, how's it going? Thanks for having me back.
Hey, no problem, man. It's going well. It's going well. Man, it's exciting. Wrestling is, sort of really exciting right now, and a lot of things to cover and stuff. But the last time I had you on, man, we were talking about Jay Uso, and we were talking about some things before sort of we got in this new era and completely before WrestleMania and everything. So a little backtrack before we get into some topics though. What you think about this sort of new era of wrestling we in, and how did you enjoy WrestleMania?
I love WrestleMania. I thought Night 2 was much better than Night 1, but overall, I mean, the work that Triple H has been doing has been phenomenal ever since he took over, since Vince kind of completely got removed from the equation. And
Yeah.
it reminds me a lot of how Hunter booked the original NXT, but he's making it a bigger scale with the talent that he's got to work with now. And it's just great to see.
Hmm. Okay, hey, that's what's up. That's what's up. And also, I got my guy, man. One of my commission bros, man, tapping in. He's joining in the show. He's gonna be chatting along with us, man. Bring on my guy, Brian B. Brian, what's
Brian
going
B.
on?
What's good, yo?
Hey, how's it
Us-
going? How you
hey, what up,
Saturday?
rep?
Hey, how's it
Chilling,
going, man?
man. Hey, listen, I've been in this studio all day. I've been going through files and working and stuff like that over there. I said, yo, it's 3 o'clock, man. Let's talk some wrestling. I said, Dre about to talk some wrestling. Let's see what's going on. What's
Hey
good,
man,
y'all?
that's what's up, man. Good Saturday. Here talking some wrestling, man. I was just asking Mark last time I had him on. I think we all three sort of was together the last time I had Mark on
Oh yeah,
about his thoughts on WrestleMania and everything like that. But he said he enjoyed it and all that. We're gonna dive into some topics, man, because some wrestling stuff that's really been going on.
for
First and
real.
foremost though, AEW, man. I think that's sort of been the topic, over the last couple of days, though, especially with what happened this past week on Dynamite. Now, I don't know, Brian, I don't know if you caught it, but I'm pretty sure it was all over the social media and stuff like
Yeah,
that, where the Young Bucks, the Elite, and Jack Perry. Sort of did an angle with Tony Khan, and I believe this was his first time in the ring in AEW, though. But nonetheless, though, they did an angle where the league took him out, obviously, and of course the NFL draft is on. I believe in Jacksonville was up, and he showed up with the neck brace, and also the comments that he made about referring WWE and stuff like that. Though I want to get you guys comments on that and Tony Khan.
yeah.
Mark, you want to go first or Brian?
Uh, yeah, I'll go
Go,
first.
Mark.
Uh, I, it's funny. Tony Khan's actually from the same town that I'm living in right now in Champaign, Illinois. So it's kind of an interesting coincidence there. I've got my opinions on Tony as a booker, as a matchmaker, whatever you want to call him. Uh, I on the Jumping the Rail pod, we break down Dynamite every week, and it's the talent is never the issue. We always have a lot of opinions about the booking and everything like that. And you're right, this was Tony's first time actually getting Wednesday, and honestly, I was not a fan. I mean, I get it. Number one, I will applaud him for wearing the neck brace. I'm all about kayfabe, so I'm glad that he did that on Friday and Saturday.
On the
Uh,
cell.
Mhm.
Hmm.
yeah. Uh, Number one, with the new elite, Okada sticks out like a sore thumb to me. It does not look like he fits with the group. Jack and the Bucks make for a pretty convincing group, like them as a unit. But Tony, when he took the bump when Jack hit him in the gut, and he's I and at the risk of sounding inside baseball here, it sounds he sold that thing like he got shot with a shotgun. He
Oh,
took a punch in the stomach. So that kind of started to lose me. I'm like, come on, what are we
yeah,
doing
yeah,
here?
yeah. He
Uh,
he he fell really awkwardly. I ain't gonna lie. I saw that too.
yeah, I'm glad they didn't do the BTE trigger on him because I don't know. There's not a way to sell that if you've never taken a bump before. So I'm glad they went the Meltzer driver on it. You could tell that they were pretty careful about how they did it with him. Uh, Here's what bothered me about it. Tony's it's pretty known. He's a liked guy in the locker room. Like the talent seems to love Tony. They always have good things to say about him. As soon as Matt Jackson put him up on his shoulders for that Meltzer driver, they should have been hitting the ring. It should have been an army of talent coming out to try to stop. But they waited until after they laid him out, and that kind of stuck in my head a little bit when I saw it. I'm like, yeah, they came out afterwards, but I'm thinking, man, it's like if that was Heyman in ECW in the 90s and like the Dudleys were
Mhm.
gonna
Oh
3D
yeah,
him, yeah, it'd be Sandman, Dreamer, everybody coming out. So
yeah.
that just kind of hit me the wrong way on that.
AEW to me, AEW, and everybody knows I'm an avid. I'm definitely not a hater of AEW. I really try to give them a chance as much as I can. I just can't. I just it's just not for me. I think it's with at least a lot of it. But AEW has the issue of, for me, they just don't put stories together well. I mean, they have like a storyline idea, it seems, and they kind of go in the direction with the story, and then they just kind of it just whatever happens with it kind of happens with it. And that's been like the stories that I've seen. Whether it be the mask guy with Adam Cole and all that stuff, whatever, whether it be even going further back. What the hell was I watching? I don't even remember. But it's been a lot of story with AEW that I just remember watching it, and I'm like, really? Whole Adam Copeland and Chris, like it's just been so many that I'm just like, okay, it's just y'all got an idea, but it's like as far as the follow through or like the long term booking of it, or it's just yep, whatever happens happens. Go in there, do a match, make it good, and then just figure it out afterwards. So it's like, when I saw the whole thing with Tony Khan, right now I'm thinking in my head, like, okay, so they did that, but what's the angle? Where's it going?
Yeah, that's
You know
that's
what I
my
mean?
that was
Yeah,
my biggest question with that because I was like when I initially saw it and Jack Perry, I think it was Jack Perry who hit Tony Khan and I was like,
Mhm.
okay, first bump, or first incident with him in the ring. So it literally brought me back to Vince McMahon, obviously, Vince
yeah,
McMahon doing stuff and the superstar sort of get angry with the boss and taking out on the boss and shit like that. So
Mhm.
when that happened, I was like, okay, I'm interesting to see where this angle goes, but it seems though Tony Khan in a way just keep putting his foot in his mouth though. It's like when you want to build on something and build on the foundation of your company, which is AEW, then you go on, you get an opportunity and you make remarks that you made far as comparing WWE to I believe what was it Harvard
Harvey
Austin or
Weinstein, yeah.
Weinstein, yeah. So
yeah.
I mean, come on.
It's really weird that I was thinking about this too. Like it's consistent at this point, man. We were talking about this on my show last week. Literally every chance that Tony Khan has, or almost anybody in AEW at this point, they make reference to the competition. Anybody will tell you, like, just to say competition, it really isn't competition. It's really alternative, because AEW is not competition with WWE. I'm sorry,
No.
but it's an alternative. But you are referencing consistently the hierarchy of WWE in almost every fucking reference that you can make, yo. Tony Storm saying something about Nikki Garcia, and it's just constantly you guys are worried about what the other side is doing, trying to kind of slander in a way, but you're just drawing attention to the opposing team. I thought they would learn their lesson from WCW doing that shit with Mankind back in the day.
Yep.
But I mean, it's just one of those things where I think that they're just so desperate for the recognition. Tony Khan especially, I also don't think he knows how to be a character. I think that's another big thing with him. He's so into sports, you know what I'm saying? It's like you can do that shit with, like, oh, the Eagles don't work out as much as you can do that shit in like a football team or something like that. But when it comes to wrestling, and you have like a whole network and a promotion that you're trying to have eyes on and continuous eyes on and stuff like that, you don't want to go shout out other things that people could be watching, or give people ideas of other things they could be watching. You want to keep everything majority in your area. But he constantly references WWE, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think go ahead, Mark.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it seems like you go back, I think it was a month ago, 3 weeks ago, when Copeland comes out and cuts the promo about the tribalism, trying to get everybody to just get over it, just watch what you like, all this stuff. Great speech, great sentiment. And then immediately Tony shows the footage from All In backstage, gets everybody all up in arms about that again. It just kind of undoes everything that Edge said. And then you add to that Ospreay, because you haven't mentioned that yet. Ospreay's interview a couple weeks ago when he made the comments about Triple H.
Oh yeah.
And number one, I mean, that joke is older than me. It's a
for real.
But the thing is, Ospreay's not looking big picture, because eventually that big contract's going to run out and he's going to want to go somewhere else. And I was listening to Busted Open After Dark, the one right after Dynamite's over, the Bully Ray does. And the last thing he said on that show was, Triple H will not forget this. Exact words. So if the guy's running the company, eventually Ospreay might want to go somewhere else. And if he goes to Triple H, I almost said Vince. That's how I'm not used to this yet. Triple H was like, oh yeah, by the way, I remember what you said about me on Dynamite, because he based that off of the interview Triple H made about not wanting to be on the grind, where he didn't mention anybody by name, but Ospreay automatically just assumed he was talking about him, which really gave him kind of a bad look in that situation.
Yeah, I think he's just one of them dudes too, man. I think Ospreay, he's in his head like he's the greatest on the planet, and to be honest with you, he is a phenomenal wrestler. There's no doubt about it. But it's just the fact that when you get in that position where you think you're so good, you can start burning bridges. And I mean, great big bridges at that. Maybe your style doesn't fit so well into a WWE kind of product or whatever. But if you are going to just automatically take yourself out of contendership by making, ridiculous comments on live fucking TV, about the head of a promotion, like, you're killing yourself, man. Like you just said, it's very hard to come back from something like that, because I can see WWE going at Will Ospreay and not, hey, come on, you want to come to WWE now? Okay. Like you said, they're going to remember that shit. They're not going to say no. I think Kevin Nash said this too. They're not going to say no, but they're going to come in and bring you in to remember what the fuck you did. And now you got, now you making money and you got your little thing, but you might have elevated. Now you ain't going to elevate as much as because of that, that slander shit you try to pull. So
I think the talent he would be fine elevation wise with his talent, but it wouldn't be as instantaneous as it's been in AEW.
Exactly.
Work up to it.
And like New Japan and stuff, and we've had Dre knows we have conversations like that on commission and on my show as well, like consistently. It is a different audience. Warren's pointed that out as well, like New Japan, even Ring of Honor and stuff like that. It's a completely different audience, man. WWE. And I know this isn't the show. We're not gonna talk about everything. It's a Dre show. I ain't gonna go say too much. But WWE does have a different type of style that people do like. You do like more of the storytelling. You do like more of the drama, and you still got good wrestling. But to be real with you, you could be invested in WWE's product without looking as much as, hey, I want to see a phenomenal wrestling match every week. You can go there and see a really good wrestling match with an amazing story. And that's what you're really watching it for, in my opinion. A lot of people are really watching it for. But AEW and New Japan, those guys are watching it for those incredible matches with those phenomenal athletes that are flipping spot for spot. You got one guy hits them up, like kind of like the luchador shit that we used to watch in WCW back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so it's a different audience you're trying to appease. Somebody like Will Ospreay, I'm gonna be honest with you, he ain't going to fucking surface that shit. In my opinion, I haven't seen him do anything that's like, man, I can see this guy in a crazy storyline with this guy or whatever. And he kind of looks like an AJ Styles or a Ricochet to me right now, who's kind of floating in WWE because they're amazing talents. But I'm just saying it, they don't fit that character that WWE kind of, delivers. But, who knows, but that's how I see it.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Look at we going IEW has definitely been the topic. We're gonna move on. We mentioned Bully Ray. Bully Ray said something on social media the other day, and while we on AEW, Swerve Strickland won the AEW World Championship last week at AEW Dynasty, and I thought it was weird. He was going to come out, and especially be either the first guy or either open it or close it. But
Yeah.
you definitely thought you were going to get.
Yeah,
You
little Dre
definitely thought
going in
you.
today.
Yeah, no, right. You're definitely gonna get. You thought definitely you were gonna get a celebration from your first, AEW, African American champion, all of that stuff like that. But you never sort of got that though. You had the New Japan title on the line with Powerhouse Hobbs and Willow. Willow, congratulations to Willow, awesome.
Yeah.
When she, had the program, that she had a celebration as well. But AEW seems to sort of, it seems though some guys sort of seems to get that short end of the stick or so. But what was you guys' thoughts on that though? That he sort of had a matchup that didn't matter at all because no
Bully
one
Ray
really
is
cared.
he absolutely right, man. He absolutely right.
No one, no one cared about that match though. Everybody
No,
wanted to
they
see a
didn't.
celebration, and I
Why the
felt
fuck
like
did he?
also
Go ahead, Dre.
one last thing I felt like too because Daly's place is sort of like their home, and it doesn't have the best production setup,
Mm.
value in the way. So I felt like going to that place straight out of coming out of the pay per view they had. It was a little letdown though, but yeah, it was weird that he didn't have a celebration or anything.
Look, I'll be honest with you. I think the celebration is overkill. I've always thought that. I think the celebration is for a bad guy. I think when a bad guy with the title, he comes out there smirking with the suit on with his crew around him, and they all, yeah, celebrate me and clap for me and drink champagne. I think that was always overkill. Swerve winning the championship, I thought he should have been able to come out on the screen and have the moment of like, I told y'all who the fuck I was, and now I'm about to show y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to have that moment of just of the proving the dominance has switched. You know what I'm saying? Like the character has changed. Like not only am I an amazing talent that you guys have been seeing, but now I wear this fucking title. I'm a completely different person now. And I think that that's the kind of criteria that has to be met when you have a championship. But I think that also goes back into the story we were just talking about, AW, where I don't think they know how to sell shit, yo. They don't know how to really sell gimmicks. They don't really know how to sell title holders. It's just one of the things, like they could put on some great matches because they have amazing talents in the business, but they don't know how to make that shit look more important than just the in-ring fucking chemistry of it. In my opinion, bro, I say it all the time, but I think Swerve should have came out there with the belt, Prince Nana going fucking crazy, and he was just walking the ring, cut a fucking crazy promo, and just said, "Who the fuck is next? I told y'all about me. Now I'm about to show y'all about." And what, you didn't need fireworks. You didn't need none of that bullshit. Just simple facts. I'm next. You see, this shit ain't going nowhere. And you looking like, all right, what this motherfucker about to do? And just that intrigue is just enough to build that presence, man. And then you got whoever's next. Yep. WWE ain't doing that shit well right now either. I'm gonna fuck with nobody. Cody Rhodes. Don't get me started, yo.
What's your thoughts on it, Mark?
I agree. I mean, Swerve got a great moment at the end of the pay-per-view, as opposed to the last pay-per-view when Sting was cut off in the middle of his retirement speech. But they
Oh
gave
man.
Swerve a little bit of time there. I do agree he should have opened Dynamite instead of they opened the show with Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy, which it's I get that that's a story, but that can wait. You want to start Swerve makes history, like you said, first African American AEW champion. He's the guy that these fans have been rallying behind for months now, and finally got us a moment over Joe. He should have got to come out. They could have even done it where he comes out, cuts a promo, then Fletcher interrupts him. Because this isn't a knock on Kyle Fletcher from that match. I mean, the match was fine. It just the
Yeah.
fans weren't into it. They could have done it where Fletcher comes out, maybe Callis challenges were for the main event with Fletcher or something, and then they move Moxley up to like the first match on the show with that IWGP title.
Bruh.
Because I mean, Tony isn't doing a great job of prioritizing his champions.
Yes.
Because I mean, Jericho got more time with his segment with the FTW title, which isn't even technically recognized by
Hmm.
AEW, than Swerve got at the beginning of the show with even with his match. I don't think his match was even as long as that segment was with Jericho and Big Bill
Mm.
and all that
No.
business. So it's just things where I think Tony. It's been 5 years, and I know that it's a slow burn when you're starting from scratch because we know Tony's never done this before AEW started. So he's got all kinds of people back there that he can listen to. Jim Ross is sitting there, Jake Roberts, Tully Blanchard. I don't know if he's still there or not. Jerry Lynn, that they can give him advice, and especially Jim Ross, about how to format a show, what how to prioritize. But I just don't know if A, he's asking, or B, if he's listening. That's
Yeah,
just that's
I don't know. I don't know if JR and them are really going in into detail, on how much they are assisting with like the creative and shit like that. I really do wonder who they do have in the back, like in head of creative and stuff like that, and really coming out with the ideas and stuff because I don't hear about it. I
yeah.
never hear anybody talking about that, like who's directing in the back. You hear about it in WWE all the time, but
Hmm.
you don't hear about that stuff in AEW. I mean,
No.
You,
if if
you
he's giving them that much freedom and they're just like really just kind of maybe that's part of the problem, like everybody's trying to just put together their own ideas and put together what they want to put together, and a lot of people just have a lot of freedom and they just try to like work with everybody's situation and they're not doing as much directing. I mean, I can see how that could be a problem as well.
Hmm.
They got so many people, like you guys mentioned, Jake Roberts, Jim Ross, though, but it don't seem like they are, putting these, ideas sort of together, though, and because they've been around for some time now. Obviously, yes, it takes a minute, but it don't seem like they coming up with the greatest ideas
Yeah.
with them though. But you guys mentioned one thing, Jericho. Obviously, he won the FTW championship, whatever it's called, though.
Hmm.
Do you feel like Chris Jericho is still over with the wrestling fans? I think Chris Jericho sort of hit a little bump in his career in a way
Mm.
with the sort of news that happened. I believe it was late last year, earlier this year, with a
Kylie Ray.
former, yeah,
Yeah.
with a former wrestler, and I think ever since then, Chris Jericho comes out and normally get these nice response, obviously with his Judas music, but since then, he been getting booed everything he does though. But because Chris Jericho's sort of been the guy who reinvents himself, go to New Japan and do a bunch of stuff. Ever since he left WWE, I think Chris Jericho was one of the guys who got a lot of praise. From really reinventing himself and doing different stuff and different characters. But at this moment, though, you feel like Chris Jericho is he could step aside, or did he just gotta shrug it through this sort of negative moment in his career?
Uh,
Go ahead,
I
Mark.
th-
Yeah, you want to take that one?
sure I'll take this one. I think Jericho was very smart even back to his WWE days, because he would take significant time off every now and then to number one to heal up, recharge, whatever, but also to give the fans a chance to miss him. And that's something he hasn't done since he's joined AEW. And when he would go away and come back, and he would reinvent himself, like he'd put the suit on, he'd use the big words, cut the hair, and then he'd get over all over again with the crowd. This is a case where he's been on pretty much, if not every week, at least like every handful of weeks, and then
Yep.
Still doing the reinvention, but he's not going away so they can appreciate it.
Yep.
And there's there's a lot of people talking about the Jericho vortex where he works with these young guys to kind of to suck their heat away when
Bro.
whether it's
Mark,
Hook. Oh, there's
yeah,
Menders. That's my co-host on JTR, by the way.
hey, what's up, Mindy? Yeah, Mark, you're just saying the same thing I was thinking, man. That's the same thing I'm thinking. I think Jericho is starting to be one of the, and just to kind of reference some UFC shit. He's an old fighter, man. And I'm saying that Jericho's also one of the greatest of all time. He's one of the
I
greatest
agree.
at reinventing himself. But he's, in my opinion, he's starting to get up there with the old fighters. Sting was one up there with the old fighters. It's just like you in the ring still, and you still can go. It's still cool seeing you every now and then, but consistently seeing you, we've been seeing you for years. And when it was like you went over to New Japan from WWE, and you didn't, nobody would ever thought that, and it was different, it was new, it was something, a whole new character, a whole new promotion.
Hmm.
WWE letting you go, like all of those factors. Then you went to AEW, and they opened AEW, and you were part of it, and you know what I'm saying? You're one of the reasons why it was even like importance or relevance was looked on it, because you're like, wait, Chris Jericho's over there. That was a average fan. Like, oh shit, I want to check that out. I remember Chris Jericho. But now it's like you just said, Mark, like he's constantly there. He's had so many different things. The group, what was the group called?
That
Him,
was the Inner Circle
The
originally,
Inner Circle.
then the
Yeah.
Jericho
Yeah.
Appreciation Society later on.
I didn't even know about that one. I missed that one.
Didn't miss
But
much.
the Inner Circle, I remember that shit. I remember him with Sammy Guevara and all them. But it's just like, just constantly seeing him, man. I mean, he's been there for a long time. I think that, in my opinion, Jericho needs to hit one more run in WWE and hit the retirement, hit the Hall of Fame. I ain't trying to retire nobody, but I'm just saying, like, I mean, how much more are you gonna do, bro? Like,
Right.
it's how much more are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I say the same thing, man, because it seems though with the he got on, yeah, Chris Jericho has been one of the guys that does step away for some time and definitely come back. But I think he could take a back seat right now and definitely reinvent and teach the younger guys in AEW. Obviously, we want to see Jericho come back to the WWE. He's definitely bona fide Hall of Famer whenever that time comes. But
Yeah.
he just like you said, enjoying his time AEW, but I think also I don't want to say it's hurting him, but I think he's just trucking through it because it was some news that broke, whether whether true or
Getting hot
false,
over
we
here,
don't
man.
know, but
Right.
it is difficult for Chris Jericho. But speaking of difficult, one thing is I think difficult for one person since joining AEW. Before we move on, is Mercedes Moné. Mercedes Moné.
Set me up, Dre. You
Hey,
want me to talk shit on this show?
look, that's what it is, man. We gonna do that. But Mercedes Moné, ever since joining AEW, I shared my opinion on commission talk and here on Talk Pro Wrestling. It's not hitting the same. Obviously, Sasha Banks was a different thing, and I don't know if it's the forced CEO music or
Listen,
the
man.
unscripted promos that she delivers. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not buying Mercedes Moné.
Yo, listen. You just said something that kind of triggered me right there. I think that's kind of what it is, yo. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of feel like Mercedes Moné, not Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné. I think she's kind of exposing herself in a way.
Mhm.
I said this shit, when she first came out, and it was established like, oh, she's the highest paid women's wrestler. They threw a ton of money at her.
Mhm.
Listen, I don't know, man. I don't know, but it just feels like she got the bag, and she's like, I don't care. I'm gonna do whatever. Oh, you want me to do that? Okay, whatever.
Mhm.
CEO, you got the song with Gunther's
And that's
entrance
what she
on it
was
and shit,
taking.
bro.
That was the whole thing that she was chasing was the bag. She wanted the
That's
more
it.
money.
That's it. And now it's just like she just kind of riding the wave, yo. I know that she loves wrestling and she's been a fan her whole life, but I feel like right now she just chasing the bag, yo. She got the money, she got the establishment. She feel like yo, listen, here's what it is. That CEO, yo, Sasha Banks. Can I talk to you for a minute, real quick? Just let me tell you this shit. That CEO song, that shit is horrible, man. I don't. People like it. I guess some people like that
It's
fucking
chantable,
song.
but
I'm telling you, bro, it's like even just from a music maker's perspective, like it's
Hmm.
all off cue and beat and the track it this shit is horrible. But it's just like that's not it. It's like she's barely like trying there, it looks to me, man. I mean, it's just like she's just there to get that money. Like the whole shit she's going into is it's kind of like trying to reinvent what happened with her and Willow Nightingale, and it's just nothing she's doing is delivering the same kind of feel like when she was delivering when she was in WWE, man. Sasha Banks is one of the greatest in the ring in WWE as far as women, man. And her storylines were believable. She was pushing it. She wasn't the greatest, like promo giver, whatever, but she definitely had a lot more feeling. It just seemed like the talent was more. It just seemed like everything was elevated. But now it just seems like, yeah, I got a fucking money already. Look at me, gold suit, gold hair. Look at me, look at me, look at me. But there's no feeling to me with that shit. I don't know. I can't get behind her either, Dre, at
Yeah,
all.
I can. Mark.
Yeah, I'm with you. I remember when she showed up at New Japan of last year, and almost the exact same thing. Her music was the shits, and there was a different song than she's using now. She
Yeah.
came in. I forget who she was. I think it might have been Kairi Sane. I think was the champion at the time.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
was champion.
She
yeah,
comes in,
yeah.
comes in, tries to get heat on Kairi. It was just flat. Then she comes back now, and apparently she's not even cleared yet. She's just making appearances. That's why she hasn't had any matches yet.
Oh
And
damn, I didn't know
all
that.
she's
Mm.
yeah, that's what I heard. I don't know if that's true or not, but it makes sense. But yeah, she comes out her first night. It's supposed to be a surprise, even though they're in Boston and I forget what they called the show, but it was clearly they were talking about Mercedes in the build-up, like when they brought Punk in. And she comes out again, flat promo. It's like you can tell the difference between Sasha Banks and Mercedes Moné because Sasha was
I'm telling you,
coached,
bro.
she was produced, and
Yeah.
now it's like, hey, she's famous, so she can do this. And
That's how I
my
feel.
wife,
Yep.
yeah, my wife hates her hair, by the way. It just looks ridiculous every week. Uh, and yeah, and also it bothered me on Sunday when Willow won the championship. First thing that happens, here comes Mercedes strutting out like the cat ate the canary, and
Mm.
now and kind of pooping on Willow's moment there. They could have done that on Dynamite, which I know they
Hey,
did, but they didn't have to do it twice. That's all I'm saying.
I feel you, bro.
Mm.
I definitely I don't know, man. I think we all three of us just kind of said it, and here's the thing. You got the people that there's always these people in all these in this certain kind of category. Oh, who cares? She's getting money. Oh, who cares? She's happy. Who cares? People who used to watch her talent, her performances, and love that shit to see the kind of caliber where they are right now. Those are the people who care. So for the people who are just happy for her, yo, congratulations. She
Yeah.
got
Yep.
money. Yeah, she's of
Yeah.
course she got money. She's doing amazing things. But as far as me missing seeing Sasha Banks go in the ring, Sasha Banks' is attitude, her everything. Shit. I,
You
I
know
mean,
what?
I
You know,
don't like it at all.
I think to be honest with you, Sasha Banks, in a way, obviously going to AEW was definitely for the bag, but it's also a trend which I think Chris Jericho's a part of that trend. Um, shit, what's my guy name? Zack Ryder. What's his name? I
Oh,
can't
Oh,
think of
Cardona.
Matt Cardona, yeah.
Matt Cardona, yeah, Matt Cardona. He's one of those guys, and it's sort of a trend where you see a lot of WWE former, superstars who get released and go off and do other stuff. We've seen Naomi be successful in TNA, and
Yeah.
Hmm.
Jericho did his thing, and even Cody Rhodes before he came back to WWE.
Yep.
So, but with Sasha
Yeah,
Mercedes, it's more
Cardona.
so she went on to, Japan and did her thing, which was, really cool, decent. But, the whole AEW thing is, like how you guys said, she's not necessarily produced. It's more so like, okay, go out there and just do your thing, and I don't think it's, actually working because you had people backing her up and was behind her. And now it's more so Mercedes Monet is going out there and without a script and just going out there saying whatever she got to say, and it's not necessarily,
It's mid.
hitting like yeah,
Super mid.
it's super mid
Hmm.
though. But yeah, I think she's part of that, trend that's going on with a lot of people, trying to, make success and do everything elsewhere outside of WWE, which is totally fine. Build up
Yeah,
your
oh yeah, for
resume
sure.
and all of that.
Yeah.
Obviously the goal is to get back to WWE one day, someday. But yeah, Mercedes Moné and AEW right now, which obviously that was a money thing, and also for Tony Khan, it was to just have another WWE former WWE superstar on his roster that he
Yeah.
could show off on television and
He thought
whatnot
that
like that.
popularity was going to come with it. He thought
Hmm.
that, and I don't think it did. I think that she came off of, like you said, Dre and Matt, when she went to New Japan, she had the match with Kyrie. But remember, she didn't have a chance to really elevate over there because she got injured almost right
Hmm.
away. It was like what, her
Hmm.
second
And first
match?
match back, yeah. Her
That's
first
it.
match with
Yeah.
Willow.
Yeah, first match with Willow as the champion. She got injured and she was out for like a year, and she's still kind of out. So she's just coming
Yeah.
back. She's really being pushed off of the Sasha Banks name, but she hasn't been Sasha Banks in a long fucking time. And I think, now I'm not saying people don't love her because people love Sasha Banks, but like you just said, even with her hair, like, we have this conversation so many times, but it just gets proven all the time that your hair, your song, your music, your entrance, everything matters, bro. So if somebody sees you and you Chris Jericho and they remember you with the break the walls down and the fucking timer going, when they see you with the black jacket and the bat, they're like, who the fuck is this guy? I remember Chris Jericho. You have to reinvent yourself well enough to make you forget about the old shit, not want to see and reminisce about, nah, that ain't Chris
Hmm.
Jericho. I want to see break the walls down Jericho. But Jericho's one of them dudes is good enough for reinventing himself to where you don't even remember that. She's like, man, that shit is awesome. I love this. But Sasha Banks ain't, at least not yet,
Not
because
yet, no.
it's not good enough, man. I'm sorry. Like, if you can't outshadow your old character, then you failed, in my opinion. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
But
I,
yeah, I
I'd
ain't
like to
feeling that
see.
shit.
I'd like to see them put her in the ring with Serena Deeb first out, just to test her.
Mm,
Hey, let's see how good you really are. Because
bro,
Serena didn't
listen.
stretch her.
Hey, let's
Yeah,
see.
it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting.
It definitely be interesting. Let's see where it goes. Remember, I think everyone definitely want to see Mercedes back in WWE whenever that time, definitely happens. Though. All right,
Hmm.
we're gonna move
Yeah.
on, you guys.
What?
Here on the podcast show, we had the WWE draft night one last night. So we had some people who sort of stay where they at, and seen some people end up on different shows though,
Yeah.
and sort of at the beginning we had Roman Reigns sort of declare that he was taking himself out the draft though, and I thought it was interesting too. The commentary said as well that the bloodline didn't get picked until what, the third round or so
Third
though.
round,
But
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Third pick in the third round too, no less.
Yeah,
yeah, and
man.
I think that was interesting though. How you guys feel about the draft? Any new people? One thing I did like was Carmelo Hayes though, and I think obviously
Hmm.
he had a couple of matches. He had a matchup on Monday Night Raw also against Finn Balor, which he lost. I think Carmelo was the NXT champion at that time.
Right.
And then he had a matchup on SmackDown though. Do you feel
It's,
like he could bounce
yeah.
back, from these losses? Which I thought was an amazing, coming out there confronting the champion. The first round
That
pick,
was a
Carmelo
better
Hayes.
move than what they had going on. I ain't gonna lie to you, yo. When Carmelo Hayes came out and he went up against Cody, I thought that was the right move. That was the right
I
move. And
think
yo,
so
the
too.
mustache is coming back. Mustache coming back,
Yes.
bro. I know I shaded the shit. I'd clean it up. It's coming back though.
Yeah, I thought that was a great move for him because, bringing up somebody exciting, definitely in
Yeah.
this new era. But I felt like at the end of it, I don't know where direction they're gonna go with Carmelo, but I felt like, man, to really bring in this new superstar. He's a first round draft pick from NXT. He should have kicked Cody Rhodes' ass at the end of the matchup. I mean, fuck
Bruh.
handshaking and all that. I don't know what was
Hmm.
that spot they was going for too, but
I
they
hope he
both
ain't
seemed like
injured,
they
yo.
were,
I
yeah,
hope he
which it
ain't
looked,
injured. It
yeah,
looked like he
which it
fucked his
looked like
shoulder up.
though.
Yeah,
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 it
yeah,
did.
man.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cody definitely young boyed him at the end of that match.
He did, for real. Yeah. Yeah, he
Uh,
was punching him and everything.
hmm.
Melo knew he fucked up, and if he is injured, that's going to be a big
Oh,
thing, bro.
yeah, that would
But
be a little bit of
but
heat.
yeah, I mean, I think Carmelo. What's crazy before that happened, I think Carmelo jumping out there almost had more weight to it than AJ and fucking Cody shit right now, because Cody and AJ's contract signing was ass. I mean, they could have talked about so much. I know we still got 1 week until Backlash. They didn't bring up no Bullet Club shit. They really didn't really do too much with the.
No.
That's why I referenced the mustache. They over here calling my
Oh,
shit out.
okay.
I know I
Okay,
look
I was
Amish right
lost for
now,
a minute.
motherfucker. Let me rock it out, all right? But yeah, I mean, I think that Carmelo coming out there like, yo, I'm ready to go on the top shit. Like I'm the second round draft pick. And I make some noise, and I was interested in it, but their spot in the match where they kind of missed that Cody Cutter, and he was jumping off one side, and they were like, listen, y'all better calm the fuck down, y'all nerves is too high. But Melo's definitely somebody that I'm interested in seeing. But I don't know, bro, this whole draft kind of fucked with me, because it literally, most people stayed right where they at, man. I ain't gonna lie, there was a couple switches. But
Yeah.
as far as like any like big names that went and moved over, Bianca stayed on SmackDown. She was the first pick, which was interesting. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, Braun Breaker going to Raw, I think that was the right thing to
That's
do, because
yeah.
it'll give him some more time to shine over there, I think. But I don't know, man. It just wasn't that interesting to me, as far as just like the biggest move I saw was Nia going to SmackDown. I thought that was a good
Hmm.
move. She can
Yeah.
do some more work over there. Bloodlines over there. They could
Yeah.
they could fuck
Yeah,
around over
yeah.
there.
What I thought with Naya is, she definitely got, I don't think she worked with Bianca Belair. So,
Yeah.
she's over there. You got Jade Cargill, which
Yep.
she may still, be on SmackDown coming Monday. But my interesting, like I said, I thought it was interesting to see Carmelo Hayes, and we only
Right.
seen Kiana James and I think Braun Breaker from NXT
Yeah.
get drafted though. But the draft definitely was interesting. All champions remain undrafted, so they wasn't going to swap, the champions from different shows, which
Yeah.
was, I think it was interesting.
I,
But
I think it was
Yeah.
smart.
I think
That
it
was
was
yeah,
smart
smart
to
to
very,
do
do. I
the
think
swap. Put
keeping
the
the
titles
yeah,
titles.
on.
Yeah, you don't gotta fuck with the titles anymore. You establish where
Yeah.
the titles are. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
yeah, and
Did you see that they
but
had more picks after the show was off the air?
Yeah,
yeah, I
Baron
did see some of
Corbin.
that.
Baron Corbin was a smart move to SmackDown. I
Yeah.
definitely think that. I hope they really take the ball with Baron and run, yo.
Hmm.
I'm interested to see what they do with him. I
Yeah.
think he could be a top dude. I think he could be a top dude. Maybe not a WWE champion top. I'd still love to see more, but I definitely think he could be a high contender, US championship contender, and really be in some big storylines and matches. But we'll see. What up, Slim? You see how they separated
Yo, what's
Braun
going
and
on?
Melo? Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, Braun went over to Monday Night Raw, which I can definitely see him, down the
Hmm.
line getting into the World Heavyweight Championship
Oh
picture, something
man,
For
like that.
real.
Most
him
Yeah.
and Priest
definitely,
would be a banger.
or yeah,
Mm.
or
Yeah.
even Intercontinental Championship. So I think that's interesting too as well. Ha, ha,
I think
ha.
they need to chill with the Braun Breaker squash matches. I ain't gonna lie. The
I think you've
the
done it enough. Yeah.
I think he's done it enough. The whole thing with him and Cedric on SmackDown, him beating him in 30 seconds. Okay, we get it. He's strong, he's fast, he's good. But I
Right.
think you're beating a dead horse, and you're not giving the crowd enough time to
They got to
get
appreciate him.
behind him and shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like you're gonna ride back him and shit, and you don't want to do that, because then when he
Oh
is in a
God,
match,
no.
I'm telling you, bro, because when he is in a match that's longer than fucking 10 seconds, then you're gonna be like, oh well, why? You were so strong before. They be failing on that shit, bro. So hope they let his personality show in the ring a little bit more.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
yes, Braun Breaker did sign with SmackDown, and then then he's been drafted on to Raw. Shit.
yeah.
But with Braun Breaker, from if you haven't seen him, yeah, these matches that they're delivering on SmackDown, these squads matches, is I want to say in a way to get some people behind him. You're like, man, this guy is buff, he's big,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
got this spear and all that, but if you are familiar with Braun Breaker, you know that, you can have a good match, go on for 10, 15 minutes though. But yeah, the main audience up on the main roster, as far as, SmackDown and Raw, obviously you see that. And we
Yeah.
all don't want to see squash matches. We already
Yeah.
know what that can, lead down
Yeah. I'm kind of interested where they see him going, man. Cause like you guys said, like he is phenomenal. He's phenomenal. But it's like I'm still trying to see where his like where he gonna fit into everything. Like, he's obviously where the world championship is. I think that's a great fit.
Hmm.
Could y'all see Braun on the WWE championship run yet?
Eventually, definitely. I
Eventually,
mean,
right? Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know.
I'll tell you what. The first match I want to see Braun have is Gable. Really give
Ooh,
him
that
time,
would be a fucking phenomenal. That would be nice right
especially
there.
this Gable that we've got now,
Yeah,
heel
that
Gable.
would be nice.
Just and really get a chance to establish Braun's amateur background. He's a Steiner, so he knows how to
For
wrestle.
sure. For sure.
and and then Gable could bump like a $1,000,000 for him with all those power moves if he
Yeah,
wanted
and
to.
Gable's strong as shit too, so it would be
Yes,
a
he is.
challenge. Yeah, I think that would be phenomenal, Mark. You just called that one.
Uh,
That would be
that's
phenomenal.
that's right. Uh,
Definitely.
yeah. Just to kind of go back a little bit, we were talking about Nia Jax on SmackDown. The first thing I thought of when she got drafted to SmackDown was Bloodline
Yep.
because she's The Rock's
Mm.
cousin. So, I
Yep.
mean, I thought, okay, she's going to join the Bloodline now. Get them a female member, which they
Yeah.
haven't had before.
I mean, I think it's going to be good. The one thing I didn't like about the Bloodline segment this week was, you got Randy and Kevin Owens jumping in there. Then I think they just officially called it. It's going to be
Hmm.
Randy and KO versus Solo and Thomas
Do,
Tunga.
Yes,
And,
Backlash.
you know when this happened, Brian, I thought about you because I know you talked about how Kevin Owens and well, definitely Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn at one point were definitely sort of in this cycle fighting the bloodline. So how you
Hmm.
feel about Kevin Owens uh back into this bloodline cycle where he's going up against Solo and Tama Tonga in a way with Randy Orton obviously,
This is
beside
going
him.
to be what pisses me off, yo. First off, I'm pretty sure we're going to be getting Jacob Fatu, who's going to come in here and just
Yeah, which
completely
I
destroy the
believe,
shit.
yeah, I believe that's going to be at the France pay per view, maybe,
Yeah,
Backlash,
yeah.
you know, uh,
See, with it being in France is the only thing that kind of fucks me up because
Yeah,
is it going to happen in France? Like, I mean, are they going to do it before SmackDown? I don't know because
I think they'll
it
do it
just
tomorrow. I think they do it Monday. If it's
Monday.
me,
You think Monday? I don't,
big,
bro.
big, big rating. Big show. I
I
mean,
would hope
yeah,
so.
they
I would hope
could,
so,
they could.
but I really hope that they don't. I really hope that they don't mess around and don't like show off Tamatunga's full caliber. Like I've said this before. Like I think that Tamatunga is the one that should be literally outdoing Roman Reigns. I think that we saw. Remember when Roman Reigns first came and it was to smash them, wreck everybody, and leave, just
mhm.
Hmm.
destroying motherfuckers. And then he went 3 years, and at the end of the reign, he started getting softer. He was laughing a lot. He was more confident. He didn't really care. He didn't take anybody seriously. I think Tamatunga is the complete opposite of that shit. And I want to see, like, you saw him bloody ass KO. I want to see Tamatunga kind of on some untouchable shit. Like, yeah, you can hit me. Yeah, you can do the RKO 40 times through the table, but he's just like some fiend Bray Wyatt shit. Like, I'm fucking impervious. I'm just a beast in this shit and just crazy. Like you see his
Yeah,
face. Like he's got it on his face. I think that's
yeah,
what the bloodline needs to fully reform them into like the biggest and most badass threatening presence on WWE right now. And I think they could do it, but they have to do it right, yo.
yeah.
Well,
I'm really
I
He's
feel
the
psyched.
like
next.
they,
He's next, bro. In my opinion.
I
Yeah,
mean, I feel like what they're doing right now, especially with Solo Sokoa, the whole
Hmm.
sort of
I love what they're doing
360,
with Solo.
I
with
love it.
the character. He went from, just been standing there taking in everything from the bloodline learning
Yeah.
to now a week later, he's talking. He's
Yeah.
talking, he got a different suit on. He's saying more than you ever know. And he seems like he's playing with he's in this new tribal chief mode. Paul Heyman got to open up the door for him, and he's giving them
Yeah.
orders and stuff. And then you got the MFT, which I don't even know what that stands for,
Yeah. They
but
didn't
hey,
explain that shit
it,
yet.
Okay,
yeah,
I
you
I
got
think I know. I
oh,
think it means mean fucking Tongan, but he can't say
mm,
Oh
fucking.
shit. Okay.
okay,
That's what
okay.
I think I heard that. I forget where I heard it, but somebody said that, and it makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
So
Sounds like it. Yeah.
That's interesting. And the way I see, because I was thinking next week's SmackDown is going to be in France, and then you got Backlash the night after,
That's right.
and
It is in France. Yeah.
somehow I feel like they could do it Monday night with the draft, but I feel like what's going to happen, Randy Orton, KO going to get the advantage, and out comes Jacob Fatu, which I hear he has silently signed with the WWE, which I
yeah,
always wanted to see him in it. So I think that'll just be another, because everybody's going down this road that is going to be, which and I said, I don't know if I 100% like it though, but this bloodline versus bloodline thing, and which I know it's
That's some
cooking,
recent
and I feel
shit,
like
bro.
it's yeah, I know though, but I want to see them as a group and be dominant because what I remember,
There'd be no more WWE if
what
that was the case. That motherfuckers
yeah,
would
what
rough shot
what
everybody.
what I think of when I hear that, I think of the NWO in a way. I
Yes,
think of the
yes.
NWO, how the NWO got so big and it started adding so many different motherfuckers in the group, and it was like
Yeah.
black, red and black NWO versus black and white NWO, and I was like, I mean, okay, I mean, like, what else you can do with it? But
Yeah.
with this, news where it could be The Rock and Tama Tongo Solo and Jacob Fatu versus the Usos and Roman. It sounds
Yeah.
nice. I don't see The Rock in a War Games matchup, but hey, however it turns out, I think it's gonna
Yo,
be cool though.
let me ask you guys something real quick. Just real quick. I was thinking about this shit, yo. I know The Rock coming back for the whole WrestleMania thing with Roman and everything like that. I know it was great. It was fun. It was a lot of fun, yo. But to a degree, I think The Rock added some really, really heavy star power. And once he left, it kind of
It
left a
left with him.
hole. It left a hole, man.
Uh,
I mean, and the person that I feel like is getting affected, and this is no hate on Cody. This is actually just kind of trying to, prove a point or point out something. I feel like it left Cody kind of underwhelming. I feel like everything that happened with The Rock, of course, The Rock is one of the biggest, names in wrestling of all time. And what he did, the caliber he did, first off, starting off even earlier than that, the Bloodline story was already, unbelievable.
yeah.
And then
Hmm.
entering The Rock into that, just, threw that shit to the moon. You know what I'm saying? And then Cody comes in and he's got to finish this story. And yeah, everybody got interested in the story, but let's be real. Everybody got interested in the story because The Rock came in and, kind of took his spot. And they were like, no, give it back. And then they gave it back. And then everybody wanted nothing more than for Cody to finish the story. And once he finally closed the book, now you got no story and there ain't shit. You just got the belt and you're a new champion. And the person that we've been watching the motherfucking filling arenas for ain't there no more. So now
So
you got
was
this kind
Roman?
of
So
go ahead,
I
go
don't
ahead, go
mean to
ahead.
cut you off. Now I don't mean to
Nah,
cut you off, Brent. So was Roman Reigns right in a way? Was we all learned that the wrestling fans are fickle, and was he right? Because we all wanted to see Roman Reigns lose the title. We can't go another year with Roman Reigns winning at WrestleMania. God, no. Oh my God, no, no, no. Cody got to finish the story. And Cody finished the story. He won back the Royal Rumbles. He went on to WrestleMania. And yeah, The Rock took his spot for a moment. And Cody was like, fuck that. Nah, I'm coming in, though. And they had this crazy, crazy, intense road to WrestleMania, and it
yeah,
was awesome. It
it was
really was.
awesome.
Yeah.
Like how you just said, Brian. You throw the rock in that motherfucker, and it
It was
turns
already big,
everything
and then
up.
The Rock just made it fucking grand. Like,
Yeah, and then with the situation with the Cody taking the spot, and then we want Cody, that blew up and everything like that. And Roman's Roman though, but now Cody finished the story. Roman is nowhere to be found. He's actually doing movies. Same thing with The Rock. And now you got Cody Rhodes, who's WWE champion. And it's like this is what
it's
wrestling.
already underwhelming.
This is
It's already
it's it
underwhelming. That's the thing.
it, it is too. But it
I ain't
was
gonna
like
lie. It's already underwhelming.
this is what everybody wanted, and now it's like you got it, and now everybody's rejecting it because it's not, Cody story is not good enough or stuff like that.
Let me
So
say one more thing. Just one more thing. I know I'm sorry, Mark. I'm not trying to
No, no,
run rampant, but
no. You're
just to get
good.
off my head, I think the biggest problem that everybody forgot, and I'm not saying that they didn't think about what's next for Cody. I think they really didn't pay attention to who's next for Cody. And that's the
Yes.
biggest thing. And AJ Styles is a great opponent for Cody Rhodes right now. He's a great opponent for Cody Rhodes. This is a spot where I think that if Vince McMahon was here, Brock Lesnar's ass would be in the fucking door right now. And that would be the biggest. And you'll know something? People would judge him and people would say something, but it would be the smartest idea. Because having Brock Lesnar come in on Raw and just fucking earth, oh, you beat me at SummerSlam, we got that belt, I want that belt back. And there would be interest in it like nobody else could really do, in my opinion. But him and AJ Styles, it's very underwhelming coming off something that was so elevated before. So if this match don't start bringing in, I don't even know how it can because it's next week, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you got a little bit of time to tell a little bit more of a story or whatever, and then have you interested in the match. I don't give a shit. I'm more interested in fucking not even the Jey Uso and Damian match. I'm more interested in like the tag match with the Tama Tonga and them. I'm more interested in that for Backlash. I'm more interested in Jade and Bianca versus the Kabuki Warriors, bro. So I
Mhm.
don't know. I don't think that
Yeah.
people thought out enough. Like, you need another bad guy or another villain to step in to be confrontational with Cody and have him elevate and have the other guy elevate and make it look entertaining. Right now, it's not doing it.
So I look at it like this, just to go to basketball. I'm from Champaign, so when the U of I went to the championship game in 2005, they had beaten Arizona in this classic Elite Eight game where they had to come from behind. Everybody was on such a high at the end of it. And then when they got to the championship game with North Carolina, they just seemed like they weren't there. Like they'd spent themselves already getting to that point.
Mm.
So to think of it this way, everybody got so high off of that Mania main event with Roman, and everybody obviously still loves Cody. That's not the issue here, but now they're getting to that little lull period, and it's like you said, AJ's a great tone setter for Cody in ring. Because I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen AJ have a bad match going all the way back to TNA,
Yeah.
but it's to the point now where you got to start building challengers for Cody, and Monday's going to be a big step to that. See who gets drafted over to SmackDown from Raw, who
And
stays on SmackDown that's going to be there to challenge Cody.
I, wa- I want you to finish that thought, Mark. But I think also too, I think as fans overanalyze Cody Rhodes when he won the WWE Championship or when he will win the WWE Championship. Who are some of his challengers? And I think we already went to Randy Orton. Randy Orton
Hmm.
definitely,
Right
being
away.
one where
Randy
it's
makes the
like a
most sense.
massive, yeah, it's like a massive story right there. They were in Legacy and all this other stuff like that. So it's a story right there. And then it's like, AJ Styles. And it seems like WWE likes to put AJ Styles in these first championship matchups. When Roman Reigns
Hmm.
won the WWE Championship the first time, the first pay per view after that, he took on AJ Styles.
Hmm.
Steph
Drew
Rollins,
McIntyre.
AJ Styles, Drew
Yep.
McIntyre. So it's just like AJ Styles is sort of like this. I
He's
don't
the
know.
barometer.
Yeah, there you go. That's the best way to put it though. But yeah, it is overwhelming though. But I think the story um will get us there. Obviously, we know the match is going to be great, but excuse me. But I think the story will get us there, and I don't think they tapped all the way into that
They did not.
story with
Yeah, they did
Cody
not, man.
Rhodes and AJ Styles coming out of something that you just finished now. So I, I feel like in a way it would have made a lot of sense, and just my opinion, if Cody Rhodes did not win at WrestleMania, because
Listen, that was a
then
whole nother story right
it would
there.
have it would have been a lot. It would have. I think it would have. I mean, all the moments were great. His family and all of that. But it just thinking back to that build up going into WrestleMania, but now knowing that The Rock and Roman were leaving, and going to take some time off, and then you have Cody Rhodes win it. Now it's like, okay, well, what's next for Cody? What's the story? But I think if him losing, I think it would have told a lot more of a story than him just, being there now. Because we all know it's not about the just being the champion. It's really about that
Right.
chase. The
It's
chase
the
is
Right.
yeah,
really
it's the journey,
is
like you
better.
said, Mark. Like you said, and also I think a thing that surprised me too. Not to talk too much about Mania, but one of the things that I least expected was to still be interested as hard as I am and invested in the Bloodline. The introduction to Tamatonga, the new side of Solo, everything that I never would have thought. I was like, what I thought I was gonna be looking at was, all right, what we doing with Damien? Who we looking at next? Who's new? I'm still heavily invested in the Bloodline. And another problem I think AJ Styles has is AJ is in this weird ass limbo routine where you don't know if he a good guy, you don't know if he a bad guy. I don't even think he knows. And just to come out and cut a promo when you're going into a title match, know you're coming off of Mania, like your shit gotta be crisp right now, bro. Like you're the investment after you do the big, party and shit like that, you have to reinvest people because people went to the party, they tired. You're like, yeah, man, it's been a lot of wrestling lately, man. I could turn this shit off now. And then you got an underwhelming contract signing. Like, well, I really respect you, and I just didn't like it. Just LA Knight is why I didn't like. And then you come on and just, well, you think I'm the real? I'm gonna get the. I have to win against. Why do you have to win? You just beat the whole fucking bloodline with some Marvel shit. You don't have to win. You won already. you already had to win. Cody could have came out there and been on some asshole shit. I'm going up against you right now, AJ. I know you're phenomenal, but check it out. I just went through the world. You think you're ready for me? Nothing like that. It was just some bullshit, boring. Two guys sitting at a table with the microphones. It's no build, yo. And
No.
is there anybody who I would have put into place? I think a returning superstar would have been perfect for this time right here. I think whether it be, I know it's going to sound crazy, but I don't know how to say it. I think a Omos. I think a Braun Strowman. I think somebody that you never would have fucking expected to see would have been perfect. See how your head just turned, Mark? You were like, what the fuck is that? Omos? Because we would have watched that shit. Omos,
That's
just
bold.
imagine Omos
That is a
earthing
hot
fucking
take.
Cody, like, and then you sit there and be like, because you can build it. Because right now it's the perfect opportunity to introduce some new shit and have MVP like Cody. I hope you like that fucking title. I bet you wasn't thinking about this 7-foot Nigerian giant on your ass. And then you're like, no, he wasn't thinking about that shit. And now you invested again. What the fuck is Omos going to do? Bro,
Yeah.
I feel like they miss points, bro.
Yeah. There's one thing that I'm hoping we get out of this draft on Monday, and that's to see Gunther go to SmackDown. Because there's your guy. Put Gunther with Cody in a feud for that championship.
Yeah,
I want to see that. I definitely want to see that eventually. I don't know if I want to see it right now because I want Gunther to be. Yeah, I want
Yeah,
Gunther
because
to be
Gunther
off.
can. Yeah, but I don't think Gunther, like, if you put them together, either let's say next month's pay per view or whatever. I mean, you would think Gunther would win because Gunther also declared, I believe, last week on Raw that he's going after the King of the Ring.
King of the Ring,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Mm-hmm.
But even if you do have Gunther versus Cody, I mean, Gunther can't lose, right? I mean, neither could Cody. But that'll be an incredible matchup. Obviously, those two was the last two standing in
I
last
would
year.
I would put that match at Clash at the Castle. If they were get Gunther a main event in Europe, I think they're going to do the same with Drew. With with Drew going after the world title again. Maybe he's defending it against Punk in Clash at the Castle. So you got all these international shows coming, and they've got a really good crop of international talent that they're working with that they can move into these slots here and there. But the thing that I worry about is Raw. Ever since Punk came back, they've had kind of an embarrassment of riches as far as like star power goes on Mondays.
Very true.
That SmackDown hasn't had. Cody going to SmackDown helps, but I feel like they need to have one more big draft pick for SmackDown from Raw, and for the life of me, I can't think of who it would be. If it'd be, they can't split up Drew and Punk because they've got business coming once Punk's cleared.
How big is Drew though, man? I don't know. Is Drew considered? He's good, but could you see him holding down Raw? Like if Drew McIntyre was like the main guy on Raw without a Seth Rollins, or Gunther and all them are still there, but without Seth Rollins, really there. Do you think that Drew McIntyre would be a good enough draw? I'd be like, I can't wait to see what Drew McIntyre is doing on Raw every week.
I believe so, especially in the right feud with
Yeah.
If he's just not just doing anything.
Yeah.
Drew's doing the best work he's done in years.
I agree with that
build up to
fully,
WrestleMania and beyond. But yeah, it just all depends on if he does wind up beating Priest for that world title and getting another run with it. It just depends again on who they put him with. Who are they going to have challenge him? And I know Punk is the obvious choice, but then you got Priest coming back around. Maybe you have Balor decide he wants the shot.
That's what I'm
Sheamus
looking at.
obviously got drafted to Raw last night. I still think Sheamus is targeting the IC title first. That's the one belt he hasn't had yet. And that's the story they always tend to go back to when they talk about Sheamus during his
think we need a heel Sheamus for that?
I
kind of feel like Sheamus coming back as the same old. Is kind of, I don't know, man. Sheamus always did better as a heel, man.
Oh well, yeah. Most people do, in my
opinion. Most people do, yeah.
I even put Ricochet against Drew because then Ricochet's gonna bump like a motherfucker with all that stuff that Drew does, and then Drew will sell the high flying stuff if necessary. So I think that could be a very interesting match. Uh,
Speaking of Ricochet,
oh,
no, go ahead, Mark.
no, you're good. Go ahead.
No, no, I was just going to say because you guys just mentioned Ricochet, and I don't think it been announced, but it been leaked out already. Ricochet has been the new and the inaugural WWE Speed Champion. You
Okay.
guys have heard about that?
I mean, that's cool,
Yeah.
but I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I kind of feel like that's 24/7 shit. I mean, it's cool, but eh,
It seems like
if you
it's
watching,
WWE's answer to the digital media championship the TNA is using
yeah, right.
these
Remember,
days.
yeah. There you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's.
But I
I'm
mean,
not
it's
hating
cool.
on them, but yeah, it is what it is. I
Yeah,
ain't
I
looking at them
mean,
no different. Like, oh shit, Ricochet crazy. Like, I'm like,
yeah, I think with that one also they trying with Ricochet obviously because he doesn't have that character where he goes out there and he stands out, but other than doing flips and other than
mm-hmm,
that though, so Ricochet is a wonderful talent. I think putting that on him is some appreciation and saying yeah we dig what you're doing. But also, I feel like they're trying to work with him, like we mentioned on Commission Talk, man. I think managers will really help some guys
trying
who
to tell you,
just
bro.
couldn't, get it all the way
Absolutely.
there, especially on the mic. Ricochet
Yeah,
being one of the guys, who definitely can't really, I don't want to say can't, but definitely have a difficult time selling the character towards you,
yeah.
through the screen and stuff.
Yo,
So
even with AJ Styles, like just think about how different AJ Styles would look if he had with Mia Yim. What I mean, she really doing anything? Why not? If you're gonna elevate him to go into title picture contendership, why are you not gonna throw Mia Yim on him? Why are you not gonna throw the OC? Like, yo, come on, my boys, fuck that. We going deep. We ain't been doing nothing back here. Having AJ Styles
Hmm.
gas them, give them hot promos from the back, and then build them up too. Now you got the OC coming back looking a little stronger. Put them in some matches against some tag teams that can afford to lose right now, and then build a tag team, build a manager, and build AJ Styles. Like, why are you going to rush this shit and not give anything around the draft and everything else that's going on? That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like they miss a lot of opportunities. I'm not a promoter or anything like that, but I'm just saying, like, I can watch the product and be like, damn, there's places you probably could have fit some of this in to make it a little bit more appealing, and we could take it a little bit more seriously. We just
yeah,
came off a giant WrestleMania, man. You should be fucking feeding this machine at this point.
you're right.
Well,
You're
the
right. Last
OC.
question. No, go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the OC is gonna do wonders for that tag team division on SmackDown since they got
Telling
drafted
you,
there.
bro.
I hope so. I
I
definitely
hope
hope
so
so. It
too.
seemed like the OC just sort of been hanging in there. They got released,
Hmm.
the first round when they was in WWE, they won the Raw Tag Team Championships, and especially
Hmm.
with AJ Styles. I was like, okay, they're gonna do something. But now it seems like they just been hanging in there, especially with the meet him. You don't know if the OC on NXT or they on SmackDown, so they're gonna
Really.
be on SmackDown. So let's see where it goes, though. Last question. I know Mark, you said you had a role. I appreciate you staying a little longer
Oh yeah, no
than
problem.
you said it. So it was really awesome having you on. But Vince McMahon obviously is back in the news, right? And what if Vince McMahon? I'm hearing that he may be possibly trying to start up a new wrestling company or work with Jeff Jarrett. And if
Oh,
that's the
shit.
case, how would you guys feel about that?
Listen, bro, I'm fucking for it. If y'all watched STR this last week, listen, STR straight through the road. Yo, we had a crazy show. This is one of the topics we just talked about. Yo, listen, Vince, you gonna come make a promotion? I said some shit where, and I think me and Slim said some shit where, give me Vince, give me Bischoff, give me Jarrett, give me Heyman, make the fucking four horsemen of pro wrestling. Let me tell you, I'll watch that shit all day. I'll
I'm
stop watching WWE.
I'm so glad you didn't say Russo.
Oh, Russo, yeah, not Russo. Yeah, Russo, you
Fuck that
wild.
guy.
Russo, wild. I'll
Yeah, I
watch that
think
shit
it'll be
all
a
day.
very. I think it'll be interesting. Obviously, some guys who watched WWE for a long time, and Vince McMahon was obviously in charge, and you see some guys who were like, "Ah, man, Triple H don't know what he's doing. Vince McMahon need to come back." And I guess those guys would be the first person that would be on the bandwagon. But look at, I mean, Vince McMahon, I always would give him his flowers. He would go down as one
Of
of the
course.
greatest wrestling promoters, uh, bookers, whatever you want to call it, in history. Like we just had WrestleMania 40. Like if it wasn't for him, like we wouldn't have got this far.
No,
I'm telling
WrestleMania
you.
one in 1985, and every year from after that though. So and all these huge moments. So like a lot of people learned from him. Triple H learned from him everything. So I got to give Vince his flowers throughout all the shit that's been going on with Vince McMahon. So,
All the
but if he,
bullshit. I'll call it right now. All the bullshit
yeah,
that's going on. Now listen,
but if he was the, but if he was the
he
start of
ain't been
another,
convicted of one thing, nothing that. He just hearsay shit. Now maybe it's true, but don't nobody know. So stop acting like you know. You ain't never been there. But
yeah,
yeah,
if he
bro.
was to start another company, I think it would be tremendously massive though.
Shit'll
Of
be
course, I
crazy.
think a lot of eyes would be on it. Yeah, it definitely would be crazy though. But you know, let's see. Let's definitely see,
I
man.
highly doubt it though. He old as dirt,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I hope not.
yeah, he old
I
as
don't
dirt.
think he will. My big question is like it's like you were saying, like all these accusations on Vince, like is that a stigma that's gonna make it where nobody wants to work for him?
I mean, I think
I
it's
mean, money talks,
possible.
I know, but
Yeah,
still,
yeah, I think it's possible. You know something? I'm sorry, Mark. I was going to say Matt. I
yeah,
don't know why I wanted to say Matt. Super hard, but
I've
Mark,
heard them all.
the interesting thing is, yo, when the Vince McMahon allegations came out, I posted a whole thing on TikTok about how I was basically talking about the Janelle Grant shake or whatever, and I was talking about how everybody immediately just listen to what Vince did and blah 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 blah, and everybody was over here going off of one side of a fucking story that she gave to a lawyer, and that's where everybody's reading. And you're just going off of one story. So one person comes out and says all this stuff, and hey, this is what he did. And everybody's like, really? That's what he did? And everybody believes it immediately. They go off of your character and stuff like that, which is important. That's why your character and everything matters with you. But at the
Hmm.
same time, everybody just went off of a story that somebody said. But now you got all this shit that's coming out, and you got more pieces of the story. Now Vince's stories are starting to come out, and his lawyers and stuff like that. And he's basically saying, which I'm not going to lie to you, I personally kind of believe. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I lean more to the side of Vince McMahon had him a little side piece, and maybe it was somebody that he was abusing his power for sure. I definitely think. But as far as a willing participant in the thing, I'm not gonna lie. Everything that I heard sounded like somebody who was in some shit, and he was like, "Yo, hook me up. I'm old as shit. I'm basically a sugar daddy to you, and you involved. And yeah, these I got some other players over here. You want?" And it's a willing participant to me, bro. I don't know the story. I don't know the story, but I'm just saying. I've heard of shit like that. We ain't gonna act like that shit don't exist in the world. She a grown fucking woman, and she made decisions for money. A lot of people do. But that be aside, if people just want to lean to the side of, oh, I heard he did bad stuff, he's a bad person because I heard a bad story, that's what you believe. Hey, that's your right to believe it. If that's how it's going to go, will it affect his business? Of course. That's why even with just the hearsay, which is bullshit in our day and age, but even with just the hearsay, he immediately was dismissed from everything that he had in his whole life. Now, she lying her fucking ass off. Do women do that? Do men do that? Hell yeah. But the thing is, now you can just say something and lose everything, lose every credibility you have without a fact in the fucking in the matter. And then that's how it is. If Vince McMahon started a business, I would immediately watch it. Of course, I would. Do I
I
like?
would be curious.
Yeah, you'd be at least curious as a fan,
Yeah,
right? But I'm saying at the same time, it's like, I would watch it, but there would be an asterisk. I'm like, damn, Vince always got some shit going. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that, and I can understand why wrestlers may be like, well, I don't really want to involve myself in that situation. But I also understand why a lot of wrestlers would be like, man, listen, I'm going over here to this fresh shit to become a beautiful established star. This is Vince McMahon we're talking about. He obviously knows the business. I think it would be a toss up, man.
Yeah,
now,
it
hang on.
definitely
I
would
want to
be.
jump in real quick. Real quick, you said he knows the business. He knows the business end of it, but question is, does he know the creative end of it nowadays? Because Vince is
Nowadays,
old
right?
school,
Yeah. 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 That's a
and
big point, man.
it's it kind of goes back to what we were talking about with Tony Khan. Is would he be willing to give up the creative if he started a new company, or would he want it to be his way? It's just that's just
Yeah.
one of the things that crossed my mind there. Just as an aside.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right because we were seeing it like went with Raw, and we couldn't wait because if the stories were right and people were saying like, "Hey, you bring something to Vince McMahon," he changed that whole fucking show 2 hours before the show came on, like and
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's hard, but
you never know.
you never know,
You
man.
never know. You're right.
You never
You
know.
guys are right, man. Look at been an incredible show, you guys, man. Here, on Talk Pro Wrestling, man. Mark, man, I appreciate you for coming through here on the show. Tell everyone where they can find you at, man, and check out your latest episodes of the podcast.
Okay, well, yeah, Jumping the Rail podcast we do every Tuesday night live on StreamYard, much like you guys do on Facebook and YouTube.
Yes.
This coming week we've got Fidel Sierra, the Cuban assassin, is going to be joining us for an interview, and then in a couple weeks we're going to be dropping our 100th episode on a live Thursday episode, and we're going to have Bill Alfonso joining us from ECW. So we're looking forward to that.
Awesome, bro.
And then
Congratulations.
also, oh, thank you very much. And then also, just the JTR Podcast Network, we also do a show, the Zero One Shootout, dedicated to our local independent Zero One USA Pro Wrestling. And also, we do a show called Gold Rush, where we just basically just talk about title belts for an hour every other Friday. So, but yeah, we're on Facebook, Twitter. Twitter's at JTR Pod. Uh, Facebook, Jumping the Rail, and then yeah, that's where you can find all of our stuff at.
Okay,
Awesome.
gotcha. Put the links down below, you guys, so you can definitely make sure you can follow and subscribe. You mentioned title belts. I'm pretty sure you like the new tag team titles.
Oh man, that's so nice. SmackDown
Beautiful.
wins between the two, but man, such a step up from what they had.
Yeah, for
Hey, I
sure.
agree.
For
Definitely
sure.
agree. Brian as well. He's my guy. Always chopping it up with him. Definitely make sure you go subscribe to the Beeline Entertainment LLC and go follow him, man. For real.
For
We're
sure.
gonna be back on Commission Talk this Wednesday live, man, and definitely check us out. But until next time, you guys, man, we're gonna head on out of here. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, man, and enjoy it, man. For myself, Dre, aka Dre on Wells, my guy, Brian B, and my guy Mark, man. Until next time, we are out. Peace. Appreciate you
Peace
guys,
out,
man.
y'all.